All right. Good evening, gamers. Put on your muck boots and prepare to join the goblin queen of the swamp, Chantel Jones and I, as we wade into the muck and mire. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Chantel's adventures, her publishing line, and Patreon, and probably a whole lot more. Welcome to the show, Chantel. I
Hey,
am so excited we finally get to talk because I feel like we planned this like forever ago, and
I think it was
it's
2.5 months.
yeah, we were way ahead of the game on this
And
one because
then like every interview that you've done since then, I'm like, this is gonna be a great show. And then I'm you post the schedule on your Facebook, but I'm old and I can't see small print. I'm just like, I like it, comment, do the social media things that you do to support your friends. And then you had Jim Wampler on, and that was an amazing show. And I was like, holy crap, I cannot wait to go on this show because it's going to be freaking amazing.
yeah, I always try to have fun, and it's funny you said you can't read small print because my talking points that I have hanging here, I have to put in 16-point font. So my old ass eyes can actually see them. And so I feel your pain.
That's awesome.
Like my eyes are so bad that it's just ridiculous. So, as you probably know, the first question I ask everyone is what were some of the games that you played as a kiddo that officially set you down the path of nerdery, if that's even the word, even though I just made it one?
I like nerdery. I'm going to have to start using that as like, is there a public nerdery that I can go to and get this stamp? um, Gosh dang, I don't know. Here's the deal. I started down the path of Dungeons and Dragons in 1989. My dad and some of his friends and some family members would go to Tracy Hickman's house and play.
What?
And
That's
every other
crazy.
weekend, it would be my turn to go with him. And we were kids. We would play in the basement with the other kids, and they would be upstairs playing. And sometimes we would sneak up, and that's how it started. But games I played as a kid were Monopoly, Shoots and Ladders, Risk,
Nice. What about Mousetrap? That was another one of my favorites.
Mousetrap. Here's the deal. I like games that take a long time. I don't know why. So Risk is the all-time best game. Stratego, it's good. I like games that take a long time.
You know, I used to, and excuse me. Then in 2017, 2018, I had a mental break. And ever since then, I have not been able to play anything that takes more than like 10 minutes, with the exception of role playing games. And it's the weirdest thing in the world because I used to love Risk. That was one of my favorite games that I used to play with my brother when he was still with us. Because we would, as I'm sure you know, you sit up all night some nights playing that
Right.
game. And
I
yeah,
I love Risk. I haven't played the newest. I realize it's probably 15, 20 years, but the one that you put stickers on and every time you play it's a different game. And then there are little cards at the end that you're never supposed to open. I haven't played that one yet, but like the one where you get to the moon, it's fun, but you only have like 10 turns. I don't like those versions. And
so
we
that's
just play
my pace right there, 10
them. Like
turns and I'm done.
I'll play them, but here's the deal. After 10 turns, we keep going.
Yeah. Um, my brother had made a version of Risk called thermonuclear Risk.
That's awesome.
It was basically the same concept, except for I don't remember how, but we would acquire warheads and we would use push pins
Okay.
to put where we had them located throughout our different the continents and whatever. Oh, and I wish I could remember it all, but
I'm here
basically,
for this.
yeah, it was so fun. And I brought it up and now I kind of how we were both blanking before we went live with names and everything. I just went blank on how it worked because I know it involved dropping something on
On the table.
like your continents to on your opponent's continent to basically wipe it out if you would get hit. And it was the most ludicrous thing that we did, but it was so much fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
So, how did you go from like Chantel the gaming kid to Chantel the goblin queen of the swamp designing role-playing games?
Um, I think it's always been that way. I don't even remember what happened to the books, but one day I was going through crap and found my dad's books and was like, okay, I'm taking these, and went through them and was like, sold. Probably sixth grade, and it's just been that way since. I used the Legends and Lore book to write a history report in the 7th grade.
How did you do
And
on that one?
I got an A.
Nice.
And yeah, so it's just always been that way. And then things aligned that we are able to create stuff using the Osric or for Golden Glory or Blue Homes, and it was pretty much a done deal once we were able to, like, I know you've always been able to submit stuff to Wizards of the Coast for their magazines and stuff, but that's just not, I don't like following other people's rules.
Yeah, I'm with
which
you.
is why I don't like, I get invited to be like, oh, hey, come work on this project with us, or, and like, I think about it and I can't, even if I'm doing something I love, i.e. writing role-playing games, I can't follow other people's rules.
It's kind of like me trying to color within the lines, and it's kind of the same concept. You're like, yeah, this looks better with a little bit of color out here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. So that is cool. So you've always been designing games then since you were a kid,
Yeah,
really. That's crazy. I can't get anything out of my head. I have got years of adventures basically stored in my head that I just need a faucet drilled in there so I can turn it on and get them
turn it
all
on.
out.
I hear they have faucets in Canada. That's how the water gets from Canada to California. Maybe you can borrow one of theirs.
Oh, jeez. Uh, so you have one of my favorite company logos ever. I love goblins,
Okay.
and I think that is just the absolute coolest logo. How
Yeah,
did
it
you
is
come up
pretty
with
cool.
that?
So here's the deal. Back in the day, I worked for the Utah state government at a, like, we helped kids with physical and mental disabilities, and my boss was kind of into art, so I was like, here, do this goblin wearing a cowboy hat, and the hat has to be the M, and then we're gonna do this. So like, if you look in the middle, the cowboy, like the middle, I'm pointing at it on my screen, I don't know why. That cowboy, that goblin was the original logo. It was just a goblin in a cowboy hat with bubble letters, except for the S was just a stick. And then the OGL stuff went down, and I was like, this is bull crap. So I contacted my artist, Kimura Does Art, and was like, I need a pirate ship. I need a pirate flag because screw Wizards, we're doing our own thing now. And now it's a goblin in a cowboy hat and a pirate flag with some dice.
It's badass.
Thank you.
And it is so cool. Like, I've got it pulled up on my other screen, and I love to play goblins for one. I played one named Blint, who eventually became Blint the Undying, the Lord of something keep, because he won a keep and he found a set of dice, which ironically you have in your logo, that our awesome GM Aisling, she had made it a deck of many things, but as a set of dice. So I would
That's
roll them
dope.
because he was a mischievous little shit. So he'd roll the dice, and the Avatar of Death came up. So I somehow miraculously, I think with 1 or 2 hit points left, beat like defeated the Avatar of Death. And then Blint got super excited. He's like, "I am Blint the Undying."
That's awesome.
And
I
and then I wanna keep in I think a card game. So,
That's cool. I also
oh,
have a character that got the deed to a tavern. That's awesome. I I don't know what my favorite race is. I do play a lot of goblins. I'm more about the class. I love the assassin. That's probably the one thing that I like about fifth edition is that you can have that archetype, but I like the old versions of the game because I can just be the assassin. I don't need a subclass.
right.
Um, but I like I like that in Castles and Crusades, goblins can only be evil.
Yes.
If I think I have evil versions or goblins, I can't remember. I think the goblin that thinks he's the ruler of the port city of of Mystery. I'm pretty sure he is on the Patreon and you can get him for free. However, Billie Jean, a goblin paladin, is on the Patreon and you can get her for free. And yeah, she's freaking amazing.
That's
I
so
mean,
cool.
we all know who Billie Jean is, I hope. And if you don't, go figure it out. But she was created for a Tomb of Horrors 5th edition game. And she carries a wagon with her that has uh the moral of the story is that she can summon fire elementals, but the only way she can do it is with her magic item that's in this wagon that she carries.
That's awesome. See, for me with 5e, my favorite thing is I typically have always played a fashion of a rogue
Okay.
because but I love the swashbuckler.
Okay. I can
And
understand
I
that.
think it is so much fun because it just it allowed me to my first character I played as a swashbuckler was a tabaxi named Tig Lynx. He was a gray, like bobcat tabaxi.
Nice.
And my buddy, unbeknownst to him, decided, well, I'm going to play your brother. And he didn't know my brother had passed. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then in game, like I ended up losing I'm so glad the game wasn't streamed because I lost my crap. Um, he died in the game and it hit so hard.
Oh man.
And I was just like, but it was so fun at the same
Yeah.
time
No, I get that.
because we fought a modified version of a Thomas the Tank Engine from hell
That's awesome.
in the game. And one thing I meant to show you before we started is all the chats can pop up on the screen. And Martin Willett, our infamous crime fighting luchadors creator and one of my best of friends says goblins are the best.
I see
And
that. They are.
absolutely they are.
I do
They
love me
are
a good goblin.
yeah, they're so
I
awesome.
I play a lot of rogues in 5th edition. I have um did you watch Lucifer?
No.
Okay. So I don't remember what season it was because I didn't really watch it. My wife, just like being a jazz fan, I don't have time for TV anymore. But my wife loves watching TV shows, and she was into Lucifer. And I don't remember what season it was, but it either ends or begins with Eve in a bar with a martini in a white dress. And I was like, done. So I have a cleric for Adventure League that wears a white dress and she carries a whip and a martini. And I only played her one time in I think it was Avamere where you go to hell because we were racing, we were in the demon cars and I was the only one not being affected by the fact that you have to have these coins or lose your soul or whatever
Yeah,
because
the
I was
soul
already
coins.
evil.
Yep.
So the card just worked for me. I didn't need coins.
That is fantastic. Yeah, you can't play goblins as like nice, and even when I
Well, and
played.
Eve, she was a human assassin, or no, she was a cleric. She was a cleric, or nope, she was a paladin of domain
Oh,
because
okay.
evil paladins. So,
Yeah,
so yeah, she was a human paladin of domain,
because I just paladins are too goody goody,
right?
it's like
And
um
I like the paladin. I played a lot of like in the 3E era that because there was no assassin unless you took a prestige class, my role was the paladin slash cleric.
I've never played a paladin. I don't like being I've never been the good kid. I've always been
Okay.
like a goblin, the mischievous little shit that
Nice.
I think we should get. I bet Martin would be in on this. We should get a game going of all goblins.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. What do you say, Martin?
And it has to be
Oh,
castles and crusades because then you lose the option of being a good goblin.
yeah. That it's weird because when I was no, it wasn't Jim. Who was it that I was talking to? Da, 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 da. I can't. Oh my goodness. Here we
The
go
curse
again. Drawing
continues.
blanks. Oh, Mark Tamarino that's doing his adventures
Yes.
of Dark Wizard Games. Um, he's like, I'm making orcs bad because orcs are bad,
Yeah.
and it's like, I it's like goblins aren't good guys. They're little
Hey,
thieving
don't get me
shits.
wrong. If you want to play a goblin
Oh
that is
no,
lawful good or chaotic good or true neutral, then go for it. Don't let me or anybody else dictate how you play your game. But
let me sway you.
if
Play an evil
if
goblin.
I'm playing a goblin, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna be evil and they're gonna be doing a lot of mischievous stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And like I know how I want my game. And orcs are bad and goblins are bad ish and that's the way I play my game. How you play your game is how you play your game.
Oh yeah, and I totally agree. But I should have prefaced me saying
Oh
that
no,
too.
I'm just
No,
saying
no, because if you want
for
to play even Billy the Good Orc, go for it.
yeah.
But I would in my world, if you were playing, I'd be like, well, he might be an outcast from his clan or something like
I'm
that.
pretty sure Billie Jean is lawful good because she's a paladin and but like I don't know. I just don't want people listening to the show being like, "Oh, I can only play bad goblins," or you play whatever you want to play.
Exactly, and how you want to
But
play
on the
them,
same
and
hand, understand that other people are going to play the way they play.
yep. So you have written a lot of adventures.
12.
12. I know it's crazy. I saw that. And it's funny because I was going to say if I can count, it was 12. And I was going to say it can be questionable at times whether or not I can actually count
Well,
properly.
here's the deal. For the longest time, I thought it was 18 because I can see all the things that I have deleted from drive through. It doesn't really delete them, so it still says 18. And
Oh,
then
that would be so frustrating.
the other day when I was making a list for my blog, I was like, there's only 12 games here. And 12 is a lot considering it's really only been since 2018 that I started publishing them. Like that's 5 years, right?
Yeah.
6 years, and I
Yeah.
have
We're
12
six
adventures.
now.
That's insane.
I can't even get one out, and you're doing two a year.
Sometimes it
That
doesn't
is
feel like
crazy.
I'm doing any.
But you are. And one of them that I really was drawn to because of a particular character or NPC in the game was the King's Castle and Brass the Copper Dragon.
Yes, I love brass. Oh man, I don't know how other writers write. I mean, I know a little bit of how Carlos Lessing of Castle Entertainment writes because we talk a lot. He's like a brother to me. But I I put the stuff that I want to experience in the game, like we'll get to brass in just a second, but like Raven Top Hat in Temple of Zeus. It's my product and I can't remember what it's called. Jeez. I love her. She is so amazing. She is a cleric and she wears a top hat and she has a raven for a familiar. But Brass the Copper Dragon is so great because, first of all, his name is Brass.
That's what cracked me up. I'm like, wait a minute, Brass the Copper Dragon.
He's a copper dragon. So if you don't engage with him, he's going to bury you into the ground up to your neck. And you're either going to communicate with him to get free, or he's just going to eat you later.
As a dragon would.
But his name is Brass, and he's a copper dragon. Greatest thing I've ever done.
Now, is he like the main baddie of King's Castle? Or I don't want you to spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it, unless you want to just throw it out there.
He actually is a friend of the town druid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So Brass the Copper Dragon. I don't know. I kind of picture a very aloof dragon being named Brass the Copper Dragon.
He's a copper dragon. He is very aloof. And really, honestly, you can interact with him as much as you want, but he's just there. You don't have to go to the farm and interact with the druid and his wife, but you can. And if you do, you get some pretty cool items to help you on your adventure. And if you're a druid, you get even more cooler items to help you on your adventure. And here's the crazy thing that I think about a lot, and I don't care. There's a copper dragon in this adventure. You would ask, why doesn't he just go get rid of the bad guy? Well, the answer is because if the dragon got rid of the bad guy, there wouldn't be anything for you to do. I need to charge my computer, so give me 1 second.
Yeah,
I plug it in, and that's you. There's got to be something for the heroes to do, and you have all the tools to do that, and I guess more than, because you have a copper dragon. I'm sure in the final battle you could arrange for him to help you out.
Fly him in there and it'll be like oh geez, I just lost the kid's name, but flying in on Atreyu.
Yeah.
Or no, yeah. Atreyu was the character.
Never ending story.
Yeah. What was the dragon's name? I just screwed that all up because I said Atreyu, and Atreyu was the boy.
You had to
Martin, help us out. Martin did say Team Brass. I've kept that one up there.
I'm a member of the Troll Lord Games Discord server. And one time I was running the King's Castle for a group of people in there, and was like, you probably don't want to do this thing first. But the very first thing they did when they got to town was went and fought the bad guy, and they didn't survive.
Oh, oops. TPKs are fun though.
100%.
I think they're highly underrated, and that is another one of the weird little things. Like, I still play 5e with my friends, but I'll do the most absurd stuff because you just can't. Falcor, that's right.
Yes.
Yep. But it is like almost impossible to die in that game.
Not in my games.
Cool.
Even
I would say in mine, I can come up with some deadly encounters, but my players are just evil. It's there.
They have a lot of tools in 5e, but I also feel like there's this conception that we can't kill our characters. And again, play the game that you want to play. But if Brass the Copper Dragon in 5e says I get 3 attacks, I'm taking all 3 of those attacks.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm probably going to target 3 different people.
Breath weapon, breath weapon.
And then
weapon.
after I take those 3 attacks, I'm going to shoot you with my breath weapon.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to necessarily call it player versus dungeon master, but if Bilbo Baggins had shown up in Smaug's cave ready for a fight, Smaug's going to accept that challenge and Bilbo's going to die.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what edition of the game you're playing.
No. Bilbo is dead. Like, no questions asked. But maybe that's it. Maybe a lot of GMs pull punches. I don't know.
No, and I also feel like I don't know what it is like at home games, but if you're watching a game on YouTube, I feel like there are a lot of punches pulled because we want the story. Well, here's the crazy thing about stories. If you and your Tabaxi brother are on an adventure and your Tabaxi brother dies, you're going to want revenge.
Right. Yep. And, oh man, it's funny you said that because after that, my Tabaxi got really dark. I'm not sure if it was my Tabaxi or my Lizard Folk Barbarian that I played, but I'm pretty sure it was my Tabaxi helped another character basically waterboard somebody to get information out of them, and the rest of the party's just staring at us in absolute horror. Well, I'm basically like, fucking dunk him again, and
that's awesome. We never finished the story or the game after this happened, but my character that won the tavern, I mean, everybody got it. It was joint effort, but after we left, I took it and was like, I'm using this in my game. She changed when she realized that the main bad guy was her sister, who she had killed.
Oh.
And I mean, she was an evil assassin, so she wasn't the nicest person to begin with, but when she received a letter from her sister that was supposed to be dead, she wasn't the same person after that.
No, I can imagine if I found out my brother were still alive by some weird circumstance, that would fundamentally change a person.
Yeah.
Especially after, in my case, like 20 years or however long even it was in your game.
Yeah, I don't remember a date ever being established, but I know she died because I was the one that set fire to the opera house.
Wow, talk about dark. I love it.
Right?
Oh, wow. That is awesome. I'll just burn the place down. Let's go.
Well, here's the deal. She was arranged to be married to a dude, which wasn't her thing. I mean, the dude, not the arranged marriage, even though that's an issue too. And then found out that her sister and him were a thing. So they went to the opera and she burned the place down.
Yeah, reasonable. I can see that as a reasonable reaction to things. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I had noticed, and I think it was when I had looked at... Boy, we are doing fantastic with remembering names tonight. The Temple of Set?
Yes.
Or is it? Yes. I noticed that it was the 3rd chapter in the Final Dream Saga?
It's the fourth
chapter. That's right. Dang it. That's right. That's CH4.
Okay. Yes.
What exactly is the Final Dream Saga?
So it's the Final Dream saga. It's taken a little bit from Final Fantasy. It may never end. Actually, it is. It's got 6 parts, and after the 6th part, that story is done. There are 6 Dark Masters, and in the first one is I'll give this part away. The first bad guy, the main bad guy in the Final Dream, is a bard.
Nice.
and so here's the crazy thing, like until you get to the bard, there are no magical instruments, rather it be the pipes of the sewer or the horn of Valhalla. No musical instruments can be found until after you defeat this guy.
Interesting.
And yeah, so it's just what my adventure is. You're looking for this king that has been gone for 500 years. He used to be guarding the way to Mount Olympus, and bad things happen, and now he's gone, and people are looking for him for whatever reason, and it's just a lot of fun.
This sounds fun. Martin had a question.
What is
He would like to know if the opera house was empty or full of spectators.
Oh, 100% full. My family was not the only ones in there.
Oh, wow. Now, were the doors like sealed shut so that no one could get out, or
You guys are gonna make me a murderer, aren't you?
I think you did that on your own.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the bars were shut. I mean, obviously there was a way to get out because she came back.
You survived, right?
But I'm pretty sure that I had made sure that there was no way they were surviving this.
It's like when you hit bar, you're just watching the count go up and up and up. And it's like the popcorn pops inside the opera house, for lack of a better term. Martin says, "Oh, that is evil."
Hey, look, I started this conversation with saying I like assassins.
Yeah, that is fair. That is very fair. I love it though, because
she's not completely. I mean, she did what she needed to do, but my she would sit back, and as the rest of the party would kill the bad guys that were fighting, she would rummage through their pockets. So not completely bad. Just
gathering loot while the rest of making sure it stayed within the party and everything.
Yeah.
So you still have 2 more adventures to write then in the CH series. To publish, I should say, or to put out.
To publish, I have 1. The last part, Mount Kolob.
Oh, because part 5 is actually.
So let me rephrase that. There are 6 adventures in the Final Dream, but there are 6 Final Dreams.
Ah, okay. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm telling you, as tired as I am, which we talked about earlier, that is a lot for my brain to process.
Yeah, but in fair, I wasn't very clear in explaining it.
No, I'm trying to do the math. Like, my head instantly screamed at me where you said 6 Final Dreams and 6 adventures. Like, holy shit, there's 36 adventures. And I'm like, wait, no, dummy.
Oh, there are so many adventures. I mean, if you go to my every year in October, ow, that hurt. I just stabbed myself with a pin. If you go to my Patreon, you can see the list of all the adventures I need to write. And it's 2 sides of a legal pad. So wow. 36 is not even close.
Wow. So, that is the perfect segue, because my next little talking point was your Patreon.
Yes.
So, like, we are completely synced up here. And
I'm so glad the great minds think alike.
Yeah. What can you tell me about your Patreon? When did you start it? And
I started it 6 years ago. So 2018. Either right before I published Escape for Cyclops Island or right after.
And folks, if you'd like to join it, there is a link in the description down below.
Nice.
So head over and sign up, and Make it so Chantel does not have to work for the man anymore and
That
can
would be
just
so
keep
nice.
publishing
And even if you
adventures.
don't sign up, there is so much free content. Every January, I do a pre-generated character every month. Those are all free. Um, there's there's so much free content. So even if you don't have the funds to fund my world domination one game store at a time, still come. And again, you can see every month I talk about what I'm doing, what I'm going to do, and every adventure on my production list is there. The title is October 2024, and it's all of the adventures that I need to write are on that article.
So see, it was like destiny how we synced this interview up, because the same month we decide to talk, you post the link of all of the adventures you plan on publishing, which
Yeah.
I don't know how you can think that far out. Like, I think if I tried to come up with a legal pad, double-sided sheet, you would see my brain start to seep out under these headphones. It would just push it out
Okay,
and just
let's do it. I'll send you a legal pad, and that will be our next show with just you writing stuff down on the legal pad.
and you can watch the spittle slowly start to run
Yeah,
from my mouth as I
he's foaming at the mouth. We broke Dave.
Yep. Dave
You know
is
what though?
broken. Call the
Like
mechanic.
some it just happens. It's organic. As I write, um there are artifacts in the temple. I guess I say the temple. The Temple of Zeus has an artifact. The Temple of Golden Nuts has an
I
artifact.
love that title, by the way.
I'm
Uh,
glad.
I don't know if it was intended the way that I chuckled at it when I
A
read it, or
100% it was.
alright, that is awesome.
Um, I can't remember if the Temple of Set has an artifact in it. But again, so there are 3 artifacts that are eventually going to have to be destroyed, which means they need an adventure of their own. On my Patreon, I working for the man is hard.
Yeah, it
So
sucks.
some months I am able to do an adventure in music, and other months I'm not. So the idea behind adventure in music is I'm listening to a song. We'll say, for example, Hellraiser by Lemmy and Ozzy Osbourne.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, this is how you would write an adventure based on this song.
That
So
is
then it
cool.
goes on the production list. Hellraiser. It's actually an adventure for. Let's see here. Hellraiser, right there. It's an adventure for bards. So all the pre-gens that I make for that adventure will be bards.
Very cool.
It just comes naturally. There's an adventure that is for shopping. There's an adventure for the sports nerd because there is a magical item that is a hockey stick. Like it's a published. It was published by TSR that it's in the hands of a jock. It's a +3 hockey stick, and I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
done and done.
So you basically kinda made could make Casey Jones from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you
Hundred
did it right.
percent.
Awesome.
And
I love it.
there's going to be a roller derby, death ball. It's going to be part of the adventure. There's probably going to be a hockey. There might be quote unquote blood bowl. Of course, it wouldn't
Nice.
be called Blood Bowl because that's intellectual property
Copyright.
of another company. But if you're smart and you know your nerd stuff, you'll know that this is Blood Bowl.
Yes. It's very distinct.
Yes. So
So
yeah, no,
what
it's a long list just because it comes so natural. Like for
uh,
example, I know you want to talk about this, so if I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm sorry. The Pumpkin Thief and The Great Pumpkin are sequels to Trick or Treat. and Trick or Treat also spawned the House of Lily.
We are first. I want to pop this up. Martin says, I want to play in Hellraiser for bards. When is Chantel running it for us? And I couldn't agree more, because I already know I would have to come up with a very bedazzled bard named Eldon Johnston
100%.
and make him play a little like dinosaur piano. And
Do it. You could if it was 5e, you could be from the Guild of Glamour, which is probably my favorite
right.
guild for bards in 5e. It's a toss up between the School of Whispers and the School of Glamour.
Yep.
If we could just mesh those two together. Oh wait, that would be Elton Johnston.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, he would be fun to play until I decided to sing, and then it would just fall apart at that point.
That's awesome.
You are just lining stuff up perfectly for me, because the last adventure you touched on was the House of Lily. And as we were talking about before we went live, I love the drawings on some of your adventures. It was the House of Lily, and then the Osric compatible version of the King's Castle, and there were two more that I saw on Drive Through RPG that I'm just like, these covers are so awesome because they look like I drew them. And
here's the deal. I am not an artist. I am a writer. And my child, from a very young age, loved drawing. And I wanted her to understand that you could do this for a living if that's what you choose to do. So I will pay you to do my covers. So if you notice, the cover for the Castles and Crusades version of the King Castle is not the same as the Osric version. And that's
right.
because if I do an Osric adventure, the art is coming from my daughter. And
so
as
cool.
she gets better, the art will improve. Castles and Crusades, I don't have that agreement. Like, I have another artist that I pay when I need good art. And don't get me wrong, the art that I get from my child is amazing.
Yeah.
But again, the King's Castle was 6 years ago. So that means she was probably 7. So the art is going to be from a 7-year-old. The next adventure that I get art from her will be Mount Kolob. It will be better. But
I love that you do that. I think that is so cool.
That's a non-negotiable for me. If it is an Osric adventure, that is the art you're getting. And I understand that art is a big thing for people, but either buy the adventure or don't buy the adventure. I want your money, but I don't care. If your excuse is for not buying the adventure is that the art sucks, that's on you. It's not gonna hurt my feelings when you send me a private message that says I would buy your adventure if the art was better.
Yeah. Besides, like, if people can't grasp how awesome it is that you're using your daughter's artwork and you just don't give two shits what anyone thinks about it, then poo-poo on them, because
I mean,
that is just the coolest thing.
In fairness, there aren't a lot of people that know that the reason this art, quote unquote, sucks is because it's coming from my daughter. It's not something I advertise all the time.
But you should, because it's so freaking awesome. I can't remember which adventure it is. It has the disco ball on the.
Yes, Dancing in September.
Yes.
I love that adventure.
So I love that freaking cover.
Well, here's the deal. Everything on my Patreon, everything on my drive-through right now is 29% off, because this is the 29th year that I've been in business doing what I want to do. Haven't always been making money, but it's the 29th year. So you can go buy all of my adventures for 29% off. And every year on September 21st, Dancing in September is on sale for 21 cents because I just don't care. I am having fun with this.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying 21 cents for Dancing in September on September 21st, what am I doing?
Right. Like,
because because if you don't remember the 21st day of September, there is something wrong.
yep. Yep. Um, yeah, like I think there's at times, I mean, obviously, yeah, you want to make money, but it's like with doing these interviews, I may never make a freaking dime off it, but I don't care because I have had so much fun, like especially tonight talking with you for the last 45 minutes, and we're probably going to keep going, even though I'm almost out of questions or talking points because I'm just having fun. And
That's how it
that's
should
what
be. And
all
that's
this
the
shit
thing.
is about, is having fun.
Like that's the thing. She enjoys doing the art. She's getting paid. I love the art because it's amazing. Um I love I love all the adventures I write. But for whatever reason, if I had to pick my favorite one, it would be Dancing in September because you have to fight Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now, you're not fighting the band, you're fighting an earth elemental, a wind elemental,
Uh,
and earth, wind, and fire. And that's why it was I published it on September 21st for a reason. It goes on sale for 21 cents for a reason. I love that adventure for no other reason than it's a stupid joke about earth, wind, and fires dancing in September.
September. Yeah. And that is one, it's a freaking killer song. Now that I've got running in my head, thanks to you.
I'm glad I could ruin yours and everybody
I
else's night.
remember. See, you don't want me to start singing. It's gonna be we're gonna watch that viewer count just plummet to 0 if I start singing. Um, so really the last thing I had was, what are some of your principles on game design and more specifically dungeon design? Do you fall into the
Oh
camp of like,
man, here's the thing. I don't know. I was in a discussion with somebody one time about what makes a mega dungeon, and apparently all of my adventures are mega dungeons because they all have multiple levels, and every level has between 50 and 70 rooms.
holy shnikes?
Yeah, so so here's the
Wow.
deal. I get that piece of graph paper and I I draw
Let
what
it
it shows
go.
me.
Yeah.
And if it's a circle room, it's a circle room. I just look at what, like, I take that blank piece of paper and I go until I'm done. And that's the way it is with monsters. Um like the copper dragon. There was no question that the copper dragon was going to be named Brass. It just
I
made
love
sense.
that because it's I kind of picture this copper dragon with his tongue hanging out to the side of his mouth. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Brass."
Well, and here's the crazy thing. Like, first of all, your first level adventures, you've never seen a copper dragon before. And then you ask him his name, and he says his name is Brass. And you're like, wait a minute.
I
Something
can just
doesn't compute.
I just picture Samuel L. Jackson replying to him saying his name is Brass, like, "Mother, say what?"
Say Brass one more time.
Yeah, Brass. Okay, we're gonna keep letting you say it so you don't eat us.
That's
Hey, wait,
awesome.
we gotta pop it back up on the screen. Team Brass.
Team Brass. That's awesome.
Uh, well, yeah, that was I gotta rip this down without killing my camera here so that I don't keep trying to talk about stuff because I am so tired
Okay.
because it's just like, I want to keep talking, but my brain is kind of running out of juice.
Well, and you're already tired, and the
Yeah.
excitement level, like I'm pretty sure that our excitement level of tonight started at 11.
Yeah, and ramped up to like
So
20 once we get going about
yeah,
brass
so I
and
understand
goblins.
being emotionally and physically tired.
But we can
I
keep going for a little bit longer.
According
So,
to the clock, we still have 10 minutes, so you're not getting out of here for at least 10
okay,
minutes.
that works.
But
But
after
yeah,
that, I don't care.
it um yeah, I like what's next for you?
Oh man. What are we talking about next? Like I'm not getting a
Adventure
part-time
wise.
job.
I had to
That
do
that
that and it's a
I understand,
stinker.
and
Like
that's why I said that. Like I
I like the
understand
job, but because I get to
that,
talk to people all day and I get to people
but
watch.
no, like life sucks right now, but I went to school so I wouldn't have to get a second job. And I did it once, and the effort that I put into said job and the money I got out of said job were not even close. And so I noped the hell out.
Yeah.
So if I get a second job, it's going to have to be paying really good because I already have quote unquote a second job in writing.
See, I had a full-time job up until the beginning of June, July, whichever one of those J months it was.
Right.
And I don't know if I even talked about this with you, but I was threatened by my employer
I think I
and
remember you mentioning that,
I just
and
handed
yeah,
in my
no,
immediate resignation. I was like, "Peace out. To hell with you." And
100% the right decision.
yeah.
If
And
I like, I don't know your situation, but if I was able to do that, I would have done it a long time ago.
oh no, I completely took our situation and flushed it when I did that. But my fiance, bless her heart, was like, "You do what you need to do," and because I get it, like I was ready to throw down that day.
I can imagine.
And I was just like, no, we're not gonna do that because then you're stooping down to his level." And I
Yeah.
came home, and I'm pretty sure I talked to Martin to it about Mar Jesus, boo, about it with Martin to great extent, and I sat up the entire night crafting the most professionally yet strongly worded resignation letter. And I went into work the next morning, handed it to the HR person. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" And I'm like, "If I had talked to anyone the way he talked to me, I would have been fired immediately." And she goes, "Oh, yeah." And I go, "Well, I'm firing him." And I go, "Here's my resignation letter."
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's it,
And then I took the summer off, which really freaking screwed us, but it is what it is.
it
And
really
now
is.
I'm back working with an old employer that takes really good care of me.
Perfect.
And so, yeah, whatever.
And you know what? I don't enjoy my job anymore. I haven't for a while, but I only work 3 days a week. So I get plenty of time to write, and every 2 weeks I get 7 days off, and I really should be grateful that I have the job that I do so I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But
Well, like I'm
sometimes
doing, oh, sorry.
it's hard to be grateful for a crappy job.
Yeah. That's one thing I'm lucky with. Like, I feel like I do crappy at my job because I basically pitch like appointments to people. And it's been so long since I've done it that it's like watching Brass the Copper Dragon tell people he's Brass the Copper Dragon, and they're
That's
like, "Dude,
awesome.
what the hell are you saying to me right now?" Because I will at times trip over everything I'm trying to say. And Martin just chimed in saying, "You made the only choice that makes sense. Nobody gets to disrespect you because they sign your checks." Fuck
100%.
that. Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. It's not a green light to treat people like crap.
No, and
And that's
it's just crazy. I did not see that coming, like, either, it was like, one of those places that up until that moment I was 100% happy with, and then I was
And it
just like,
has to be hard. Like I trip over myself sometimes when I talk, but this, like, this is my natural element. I applied for a sales job at my work and was just like, when I got to talking to them, I was like, nope, I can't. If you want to buy a blue pen, you buy a blue pen. I'm not going to
yeah,
sell you a different kind of pen. I
yeah,
struggle trying to sell my products. I'm not a saleswoman. I am a writer. But talking to you, I could go on forever about anything that you want to know about any of my adventures or the process in what I do, even though there's really not a process. I just sit down and go, and stuff happens. I want to
yeah.
buy the Tomb of Adventure Design and the Tomb of World Building because I just want to have them, but I don't need them. And and again, if you need those tools to help you play your game or write your game, that's 100%
Get
awesome.
'em, yeah.
But I get the idea and I just write until it's done, which again is why my adventures are so big, is because I can't be like, hey, I only need 12 rooms in this dungeon. The paper is too big for just 12 rooms. I use the whole paper, and unless I am like, oh, hey, the House of Lily is only this big, so I can only have this many rooms. I just I there is no, the process is go.
Yeah. It's like extra dimensional portal when you walk through through the door, and the House
And
of Lily is 800 rooms. It just
yeah,
it is,
it,
you know?
it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah. It's like an
And so
Alice in Wonderland type thing, you know?
it's funny that you should bring up Alice in Wonderland.
I know, and I just thought of the same thing because I brought up the chess set
Well,
when we
not
were
only the
talking.
chess set, but my big thing that I have always loved and am working on is an Alice in Wonderland setting.
Very cool.
It's so cool. I love it. And
That was
again,
instantly the first thing I thought of, going through the door and then having this huge
there's
world inside.
there is so much free content about my campaign setting set in Wonderland that, again, just go to my Patreon and you guys will be set for life, even if you don't become a paid subscriber. Now, I will admit that Patreon right now is set to autopilot. So if you become a free member, you might get hit with a, hey, here's a 20% coupon for your first month. I'm
21
sorry.
20% off, 21 cents would have been crazy.
Well, that's for drive through. The Patreon, it would be
Oh,
20% of $3, which is still a pretty big thing. But
yeah.
again, if you look, I'm not going to lie to you. I want your money. I do. I want you. I don't know how many people are watching right now. I've been looking for a clicker, but however many people are watching this, I want your money. I want you to go to Patreon right now and subscribe at the $20 level. I do.
And
I'm not
get
going to lie.
her
I
out
want
of
your
the
money.
dang job.
I want all of your money, but I understand that you have families and bills and you need eggs and milk. And if all you can contribute is being a free member and taking my content to your next game, then I have still contributed to society. And at the end
Yes,
of the day, that's all I'm trying to do.
and in a positive way. You know, it's like, because there are plenty of people that contribute to society that don't do it in a positive way, but you
Well, if
are.
it's a negative way, are you really contributing though?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, ignore the tired guy.
Yeah, no, look, I want your money, but I understand that we all have things that are way more important than just a stupid game. So, yeah, the free content is there to try and seduce you into becoming a paid member, but it's also there because I understand that sometimes the only way people are able to play the game is because they get free content.
Yep,
And
I've
at
been
the end of
there.
the day,
So
being able to play the game is way more important than me not having to go to work Monday through Wednesday.
Even though that would be damn cool if you did.
100%.
So, well, all right, my lady. I think
Well, according to the thing, you got 10 seconds. Oh, nope, time's up.
I have had so much fun, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me. I have also had so much fun talking about absolutely nothing.
You need to jump. Yeah, you need to jump over to Chantel's Patreon, sign up, like she said, even if it's for the free membership. But we prefer that you give her all the monies.
All the monies. Well, and here's the deal.
What goblin doesn't want all the shinies?
But here's the thing. If I want to say Matt's his name, right? The guy that's been hanging out with us.
No, Martin.
If he wants this Hellraiser game to happen, go to my Patreon, sign up for the $20 level, because I will run a game for you. Go get 5 other friends to sign up at the $20 level, and then Hellraiser will jump the production list and become the next thing I work on. And we're all screwing around playing bards named Elton Johnston and whoever else you want to be. And we're riding off into the sunset on our magic piano and yellow brick road.
That's right. I'm not even going to try to sing it because, yeah, we're not even.
and there may be a tiny dancer or two.
And it's crocodile rocking.
Let's do it.
All right, folks. If you enjoyed this, drop a like on it. Be sure to jump over to Chantel's Patreon. I almost called it. I don't even know what the hell. Jesus, I need to go to bed after this. And I don't even get to because I've got so much stuff I got to do. So,
okay, well, you get on that.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for joining us. Martin, thanks for being so active in the chat and hanging out with us. Everyone else that watched, thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.